Hi, this is Kerry Artak with Wicked Stocks, bringing you the daily SPY report for Monday, December 27th, 2021. Before I jump into the charts, just as usual, want to encourage you to please click like each and every time you watch the daily SPY report. It's generally uploaded to the Wicked Stocks YouTube channel by around 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, Chicago, each and every trading day for the next trading day. The exception to that being on Sundays, usually goes out midday for Monday's letter. So this is a Monday letter, December 27th, 2021. Also, Subscribing to the Wicked Stocks YouTube channel will provide you notification each and every time new content has been uploaded to the Wicked Stocks YouTube channel. That includes the daily SPY report, the new daily Triple Q report, also the weekly DIA, the Dow Jones Industrial Average ETF, the weekly IWM, the Russell 2000 ETF, and a free stock pick a week goes out usually by Monday or Tuesday, and an assortment of other analytical videos we put out on a pretty regular basis. So become a subscriber. You won't regret it. Let's take a look at the chart. The first thing I'm going to start with is sort of like the 2 to 3 week time frame. We are approaching 474.08, which is a level that can contain weekly buying pressures. And it's also consistent roughly with the highs over the last month or so of activity. It can contain weekly buying pressures, and below which there's no indication of it. It's just that the market can quite easily fall back inside of 2 to 3 weeks to midterm support in the 447.60 to 448.33 area. I'll give you the clear indication of that in just a moment. But upside, if we were to close above 474.08, then I think it's certainly inside of 2 to 3 weeks, probably inside of 1 to 2 weeks, whereby we would retest that 485.09 long-term trend line that spans back to August of 2020 and has performed well since the September high in containing monthly buying pressures. We rallied to within 1% of it in October and early November and fell off nicely, and it can perform the same function again, but once again, it's not considered an objective unless we were to close today above 474.08. Let's take a look at the support and resistance levels. You can see 474.08 just above the market, once again able to contain weekly buying pressures. I don't say as much in the text because there's only so much room, but as I just mentioned, holding below that does allow the market to fall back into the 440s over the next 2 to 3 weeks. Now, on the way down today, I'm giving plenty of breathing room to the downside. This just because we are so close to the all-time highs in the 473 handle. There's just a lot going on up here. So holding below 474.08, this market could fall back to 464.15 today, which can contain at least initial, possibly daily selling pressures. And breaking 464.15 would then allow, or likely yield actually, 461.67. And 461.67 it's a 50% downside retracement. A, B, you can see in the chart here over the last, 4 or 5 trading days that, substantial swing we've had since A up to B, which is the high from last Thursday. So halfway back is 461.67. I do monitor Fibonacci all over the place. I go back just like you see here over the last 4 days. I also look at, 4 weeks, 4 months, 4 years. I look at all of them, upside, downside, so forth and so on. And I rarely rely on them in and of themselves as a significant point to trade off of. I do like line studies better, structure as I call it. But 461.67, if you go back over the last month and a half, is also roughly, it kind of intersects or dissects trade over the last month and a half. We've got a series of highs and lows and gaps and so forth and so on. So I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt. If we were to test it over the next few days, and we may, certainly below that 474.08 resistance, 461.67 can contain 2 to 3 day selling pressures. And with an abbreviated week as it is, it may actually contain selling through the rest of the week. But if we were to close below 461.67, I do think by the end of next week or sooner, we should fall back into that 447.60 to 448.33 area, which is a midterm support region able to contain selling through January trade. And from there, we can push back into the 470s or higher again within several weeks. Let's take a look at the upside. If we were to push or open today above 474.08, we could actually test 478.18 on an intraday basis where we could top out for the day itself. 478.18 is nothing more than an extreme channel top. But if we were to close above 474.08, that would be a new all-time high settlement price. We'd be above that structure as well, above 474.08. I do think then you should ready yourself for the 485.09 long-term trend line. Now that may be reachable by Thursday's close, the last trading day of the week, but I honestly think it could also tip into next week before reaching 485.09. And once again, it does not become an objective unless we close above 474.08. The 485.09 long-term trend line is now backed up, if you will, by a more intermediate channel top, presently at 486.25. So that 1 point range, a little bit better than a 1 point range, if tested over the next week, 2 or 3, can absorb buying, into February trade. And from there, the market could fall back over the following 2 to 3 weeks, possibly 2 to 3 months, possibly back to the channel bottom at 433.29, which I haven't even mentioned today because there's really no need for it. But this is sort of the big picture here. If we were to hold that 486.25, 485.09 to 86.25 area, if tested over the next few weeks, there's nothing to say that within several months the market couldn't fall back to that rising channel bottom presently at 433.29, where we could quite easily bottom out on a quarterly basis. And I'll finish with the fact, and I know that you're familiar with this if you've been watching the Daily SPY Report for the last couple of months. You know that if we were to close above 486.25, I'd have a substantial buy signal, or you could call it a secondary sign of strength, because just looking at this graph, you can see that we're clearly in a bull market. So closing above 486.25 would sort of accelerate bullish momentum. And I think within 3 to 5 months, which would put us probably into Q2, early Q2, we should then reach into the 550s roughly. There is a long-term rising channel top that I will begin illustrating as we approach the 485.09 to 486.25 area. But once again, it's not considered a near-term objective unless we settle today above 474.08. I think that kind of covers it. I'll leave you with the support and resistance levels. Once again, every minor point has been carefully chosen. So, aggressive day traders can have at those levels however they deem, proper for their trading style and so forth. 474.08, this is the area that if you're going to play the short side into the middle part of January, this is the zone to do that, where we could fall back into the upper 440s over the next 2 to 3 weeks. And inversely, if we close above 474.08, my recommendation would be to liquidate short positions if you trade sort of the 2 to 3 week time horizon, because over the next 1 to 2 weeks, we should push into the mid to upper 480s. I think I'll just leave it at that. There's the support and resistance for the day. Please click like each and every time you watch the Daily SPY Report, and subscribe. Subscribing to the Wicked Stocks YouTube channel will provide you notification each and every time new content has been uploaded. That's all I've got for Monday's Daily SPY Report. I'll be back tomorrow for Tuesdays. You have a great day, and we will talk soon.